LiveWire, and we're going to be back in just a minute, and we're going to be talking with some folks from California Stage Theater Company, they are producing a new play called Winter's Waltz by Richard Broadhurst, and we're going to have the actors here and talk about what it's like to produce a new play on a stage in Sacramento. We'll be back right after this important message. Well, we're here with LiveWire, and with me in the studio is a real bona fide playwright, Richard Broadhurst. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
And you brought along a couple of actors, Tori Scroggins and
Lauren
Taylor. Wonderful guy. So tell me about the play you're producing at California Stage.
Well, it's a play I wrote 15 years ago, and I had stuck it in a drawer, and suddenly I felt inspired to bring it out, and we had a reading for the folks at Cal Stage in November, and they liked it and said, well, let's do it in January, which is very unusual. Usually with the process of getting a play produced, you submit it, you wait years to get something done, so I jumped on it.
Well, in this case it was 15. But what is, I mean, the life of a playwright can be, hurry up and wait, I'm sure, but that's amazing. But you have had a lot of your shows produced here in Sacramento and around California, and then in New York.
I've had the first play I ever wrote was a series of one acts that were produced in New York City, and then I've had plays produced in Los Angeles, Minneapolis, Connecticut. About 3 years ago, I had one play was premiered at the Fringe Festival in Scotland, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, the Edinburgh Festival.
Yeah, the Edinburgh
Festival.
Festival.
That's a wonderful festival.
Yeah, I didn't get to go, so I only heard about it, but it was really kind of fun.
It's a fascinating festival. It's huge, huge. And we were going to go this year, but unfortunately things got in the way. We couldn't do it.
Yeah, I was really sorry I didn't get to go. But,
So this play is about two men. Obviously, both of your cast, whole cast is here, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I should say I along with the wonderful Janice Stevens, who's a wonderful director.
Yes, absolutely.
When we talked about doing it, I absolutely would not do it without the actors we have here today.
Wow.
Because I just felt I needed these kinds of actors to do the play.
Well, they were great actors. Tori, you've done a lot of plays around town, but your basic beginnings were in film, right?
Yes. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I originally started trying to pursue work as a film actor, and I got involved in theater just to kind of pad my resume. But I fell in love with it.
Yeah, sure.
And I realized that's what I really...
You realize it's a totally different thing, yeah.
That's what I really love to do.
I think that's happened to a lot of us. You've also done film work, right?
Myself?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I have written a number of screenplays. I haven't had, the only thing I've actually had on film was I did a rewrite of a Chuck Norris film years ago, which was kind of funny, but it paid the bills, so why not?
Cut to car chase.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what about you, Lauren? I know that you have lived in London, worked in London and New York, and you actually are a New Yorker, if you'd say something.
A Brooklynite.
See the dirty bird sitting on the curb.
We don't all speak like that.
Oh, okay.
I used to speak like that until I moved here to California.
And you got that California twang.
I do.
So you two are you play these are really opposite kind of characters. You are of a younger generation, and
yes.
Yeah. This is.
Are you implying something?
No. These are characters in the play I'm talking about.
Oh yes.
He's playing younger, and you're playing older.
That's right. I'm playing much older than I am.
But it's trying to understand different lifestyles, and I guess your character, as far as I can see, his name is Wyckoff.
Ingram Wyckoff.
Yeah, Ingram Wyckoff.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He's has been playwright.
He was a very successful playwright for a while, but now he's feeling that he's no longer needed or wanted as a playwright. That he's an old-fashioned playwright, and they don't do those kinds of plays anymore. So he's also in the play. He's won Academy Awards and he's won Tonys. His plays were big hits, but now he's forgotten. He's a forgotten man.
So that's the name of a short story by a famous playwright. Can we say the name of the playwright? It's an homage to?
Sure, absolutely. No,
Who is it?
When I was a guest playwright at the William Inge Theater Festival.
I see.
And I learned a great deal about Inge himself, and so he was very much the inspiration for the play, though the character Lauren is playing isn't William Inge, but I used him as sort of an inspiration. And he felt very much like Ingram did, and in fact committed suicide at the age of 61.
61?
61. Shortly after he had won an Academy Award for Splendor in the Grass. But he felt forgotten, and critics began to ridicule him. So that was just the kernel of the idea, was that sort of became the kernel.
Well, it is really then about somebody who places too much emphasis on who he is, on what he does for a living.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's very much the case, and it's really sad because
his works are done now all over the place.
No, exactly, and I think it was just such a loss because, as I say, he was only 61 when he committed suicide.
So, Tori, obviously there has to be somebody that comes in and moves the plot forward. Is that correct? Is that what you do?
Is that what I do? That's what I always do. No, I think, with two characters in a play, it's always pretty much intersecting plot.
I mean, you don't know each other from when the play starts, and then at the end of the play, you have a kind of simpatico. I mean, we don't have to give too much of one play because we want people to see the play, right?
Yes, we do.
And where is it playing, and when is it playing?
Cal Stage on R and 25th at the Wilkins? No, not the Wilkins.
No, it's at the California Stage.
At the California Stage,
Sure.
the big theater.
And all people have to really do. Oh, there it is.
Fridays, Saturdays, and
Saturdays at 8
Sundays.
p.m. You can read it right off the screen.
Right. Fridays and is that when I have to be there? Oh, I had made plans for Sunday.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to be there at that time. What are you talking about? No. And so it plays for about 4 more weekends.
Yes.
Cool. So, but I wanted to get back to the relationship between the two because there's the conflict is this main issue about this forgotten man, right. And Tori ends up being the kind of like the psychotherapist in the picture, but through odd means, right?
Very odd means. I don't know how much we should tell.
Well, let's have a
the
look.
plot.
We have some slides. Can we have a look at those couple of slides that may help us a little bit?
Or not.
Or not. Well, you narrate it, okay? What's that? Who's that?
That's the author.
Not a very flattering picture, but that's.
And the interesting part of this is that it's the first time
I thought that was the French
doing
poet.
a play where the author is sitting there listening, which is what Richard did. He would come, sit while we were rehearsing, close his eyes. He never watched it because he just wanted to hear the words.
He was visualizing a wholly different thing, right? Like a movie or his dinner.
Sometimes the hearing the words in many ways, it's more important than actually seeing what's happening.
Yeah.
So that's really.
And there's a group of people. The playwright is there, and there's a Janice Stevens in the back there.
Right. Hair director.
Very good. Very good.
Oh, there
Ooh,
you go.
there's
Oh, look, a nice
Yeah.
picture of Janice.
Nice.
There's your director right there.
Indeed.
Yeah.
She's,
Oh, and this is from the play, isn't it?
this is, yes, a kind of simulated scene from the play where we are drinking some wine. It was a good year for wine. That one.
Good. Varietal.
Yes, a red blend.
So you're going to do a little scene for us. Oh, what's happening there?
It looks as though they
It's
are
legal.
enjoying
It's legal now.
enjoying some marijuana.
Marijuana.
It looks like.
I see. Oh,
I don't know what that is.
and
I think
I don't know. It looks
that's
like
the
an outside
marquee
picture
outside,
of
yeah,
theater.
there you
Yeah, very good. Oh, and there's the poster with you two guys clinking glasses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but there've been great reviews on this so far. Words like wonderful and beautiful and powerful in these reviews, and I found it a very interesting thing. You two have worked on this show for 6-8 weeks now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's been a kind of a long haul to find the shape of your work in there. And how did it work out for you? Finally connected very well, obviously, because of the words in the review said that you two are just dynamic and wonderful and otherwise interesting folks.
That was my wife who said it.
No, these are people, unless she's got 9 names, I've read them.
It's a wonderful opportunity to get to work with the actual playwright and our director, who's wonderful, Janice Stevens. It's really interesting because the first time you read a play, you kind of have a vision or an idea of what you think it is or what it's about. Mm-hmm. And then through time, as you're piecing through it, you kind of lose focus of that. And then once it all comes back together, it's like, oh, this is the show. This is what it is. This is the
So
story.
you do a little scene from the play for me now, would you?
Absolutely.
Can you
Sure.
tell me what the,
Ah.
give me a little lead into what the scene is?
This is the scene. One of the mysteries in the play is about this little music box and who gave it to him and what it means to him. And this is the scene after I asked Tori's character to bring the box over to the coffee table
I see.
where I'm sitting.
Okay.
So it's the
So there's a ghost in your life and you're bringing it back up. Okay.
yes.
Well, we're going to take a short break and we'll come back with you two guys at the side set doing a scene.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Okay, we're going to take a short pause for the cause and we'll be back right after some important messages. And we're going to see a scene with Lauren and Tori doing a scene from Winter's Waltz by Richard Broadhurst.
Problems, the ones nobody talks about at cocktail parties. We go looking for them. No matter the obstacles, no matter the odds, we surround a community's most critical problems, and we fight. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you?
Hi, I'm Matt Martin, and I've had my fair share of bruises and injuries. But for many who put their lives on the line every day, it's not always the injuries you can see that hurt the most. Every single day, 184 veterans are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. When medications and therapy don't help, professionally trained service dogs can. American Humane has created a free guide to help veterans obtain these life-saving animals. For help, please go to AmericanHumane.org.
We're back with LiveWire. I'm Ray Tatter, and with me in the studio is Richard Broadhurst, whose play is being premiered, a world premiere at California Stage in downtown Sacramento. And we have a couple of actors. We're going to do a scene from it. What's that scene about?
This is a scene between, well, there are only two characters. It's a scene between Graham and Jamal. And it revolves around a mysterious music box. Well, it's mysterious to Jamal, but not to Graham. And it's they're really discussing the box and what is the box about.
I see. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, let's have a look at it.
This is crazy, man. Are you going to open the box?
Not just yet.
It's old.
It's a music box.
What's it play?
Open it and see.
Hold. Is it like Pandora's box? Am I going to be letting out all kinds of evil?
Possibly.
I think I'll let it slide.
I wouldn't have taken you for the superstitious type, Jamal.
I'm not. I'm just not up for taking unnecessary chances.
What would you call selling drugs?
Like I told you earlier, getting by. Anyway, it's your box. You open.
All in good time, my pretty. All in good time.
Look, if you're feeling better, I think I'm going to split.
Oh, no, it's so late. The sun will be up in a few hours. You might as well stay now.
Stay here?
On the couch. You could wake up looking at something other than that brick wall you're so used to.
You want some more tea?
No, I'm fine.
Look, man. When I leave, you're not going to, like, do anything crazy, right?
Depends on what you mean by crazy.
Killing yourself, man. Killing yourself.
I'm afraid I don't have the courage to do it myself. Perhaps you could take me to see the wizard.
Who the hell is the wizard? Some ball player I don't know about?
You can't be serious, Jamal. I can't imagine anyone growing up in this country who doesn't know the story of the Wizard of Oz. At the very least, you have to have seen it on TV with Judy Garland. Somewhere over the
Oh,
river.
yeah, that. Okay, yeah. I saw it at my grandma's house a couple of times, like in the spring or something.
Oh, it's so magical. Particularly when she arrived in Oz and suddenly everything is in color.
Color.
Yes. Dorothy's house lands on the Wicked Witch of the East. She opens the door and presto, Oz in living color.
Didn't see any color.
That's not possible.
Grandma only had a little black and white TV.
What a shame.
Hey, don't be talking about shame. You're the guy who wanted to kill himself.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that. So, that's an interesting thing, you know, the relationship between certain people in society who have woven their lives into a film like this Wizard of Oz and use it as a kind of running metaphor in their lives is really interesting. And playwrights probably do it, but this is one where it really fits into this man's depression.
Oh no! Well, absolutely. Plus, and again, it to some extent it goes back. Although I say it's not Inge. Inge was from Kansas, and coincidentally, so am I. So the theme kind of.
I'm not
played
slamming
itself out.
Kansas.
No. Well.
I went there once, but it was closed.
Exactly. So it's not unusual I don't think it's unusual for any playwright to draw on their own, biographical life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So while much of it may be related to Inge, there's also a great deal of it that I could is about some of my experiences. And in fact, if you're from Kansas, the Wizard of Oz constantly comes up, unfortunately. You mention you're from Kansas, and then you have to listen to all the tired lines. Did you have a dog named Toto? So I thought I'd use it to my advantage this time.
Well, it works. You know, it's interesting how that metaphor can be used over and over again. And sometimes it works, but this time it really does.
Oh, thanks.
So we'll be back. We'll bring the actors back, and we'll talk some more. We'll be back in just a couple of seconds with LiveWire, and we're going to be talking with Richard and the actors in Winter's Waltz at California Stage Theater. We'll be back after these very important messages, as opposed to the other ones, which were somewhat important, but very important as well.
My journey skating for the gold taught me a lot, but my journey with breast cancer has been one of my greatest teachers.
Every woman's breast cancer is unique. Be Wiser educates and empowers women to take control of their breast cancer treatment plan and help navigate their own path beyond 5 years.
Talk to your doctor about information and tests to personalize a treatment plan that fits your needs. I did. Be informed, be wiser, support survivors like us.
Gaining weight was easy. All I had to do was sit down and eat. Losing weight's a lot harder. I have to work at it every day. But with every step, I lower my risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease. And that makes every step, every choice, every day very much worth the effort.
Learn how you can help stop diabetes by losing weight, eating healthy, and staying active. Visit checkupamerica.org or call 1-800-DIABETES.
We're back with LiveWire. I'm Ray Tedder, and with me in the studio is Richard Broadhurst and his actors in his world premiere production of Winter's Waltz. Tell me a little bit about the concept of new plays in this town, and other theater companies do new plays here. California Stage does as well.
New plays are problematic to the extent that there are not a lot of theaters that will exclusively do new plays. Mm-hmm. Usually established theaters will perhaps do one new play a year. Cal Stage primarily does new plays, and that's very unique in the theater. There are other theaters, I think New Jersey Rep does all new plays, but for the most part, and I suspect I know it's because they have to pay the bills. So they have to do plays that they can get their subscribers to come to, and then their subscribers will say, okay, well, you can now do a new play. But in the meantime, could you throw in a little Neil Simon, something that they know? Yeah. And not knocking Neil Simon, I love his plays. But that's the process of finding theaters that do new plays is sometimes it's not easy, but that's one of the things I like about Cal Stage is that they are willing to do primarily all new plays, or I guess all new plays. Other theaters are not so open to that.
I see. Tori Scroggins, you have been in a lot of films, and those are always new scripts, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're always working with changing lines, and I had a wonderful line in that film, and then you see the film and it's not there anymore. Oh yeah,
I've done stuff where I've seen the final product and I wasn't there at all anymore.
I see. So how was it working? Were there many changes? I mean, I understand that some playwrights, they get working with a director and they make major changes. Janice Stevens, who directed this play, did a play about 6 years ago at California Stage, and it went into 12 rewrites before it got onto the stage. It's a very hard and arduous process, and the actors kind of went along with it, and they actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable. It is. It was just minor words and lines here and there, but it is a part of the process where you get a change here and there, and you just incorporate it and keep rolling.
You've done a lot of new works, haven't you?
Yes. I had quite an experience with one at the B Street opening night. They decided to change the sequence of scenes. And I was supposed to go on in the 3rd scene. They switched it to the 4th scene. But my body said, oh, you go on. and at the end of the 2nd scene, I went on stage. Fortunately, it was lit in such a way that there were different sections of the stage for each of the scenes, so that where I went was dark. And I realized when I got there, oh, my goodness, I shouldn't be here. Wow. So I just sat there in the dark for the whole other scene. Just early for my entrance.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for talking to me. It's really important to bring the idea of new works to the stage and to let people know that new works are important, and we don't have to rely on New York people who live in New York to write plays just for the West Coast. There's Winter's Waltz, which is playing at the California Stage Theater on Fridays and Saturday nights at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m. at the California Stage. And I want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming to talk to me about it. You wonderful California artists.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we have for today, and we'll be back next week with LiveWire. Remember, live at 5 on Wednesdays, and we meet artists from our town and around Northern California, as well as people who work in social services, and we have a good talk. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week at this same time.
Thank you.